Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your monthly forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and we're going to be taking a look at the month of August. And first and foremost, welcome everybody. I like to begin with channeled messages before we pull out that Celtic Cross. The channeled messages come from dreams and meditations, and today I was dreaming of the ocean before I woke up. And it really inspired me to do a little bit of research about ocean waves in particular, because I was really connecting to that energy of movement. So, this is what's going to inform the overall direction of the reading today, and it really is about momentum and motion and movement and change. So let's talk about waves a little bit, and then we'll look at the cards. First and foremost, they are transports. They transport energy. And the waves are caused by several different factors. So that energy can come from solar and lunar tidal forces. In other words, the gravitational pull of those objects on our planet, and namely the water, basically that can help move it. They can also come from earthquakes and wind as well, among other things, but those are some of the key places where the energy can initiate. They can gain power. Waves can actually start to gain some momentum and power as they swell up and move across the surface of the planet. As a just general totem, they represent potential, they represent movement, power, motion, and emotion. So now is the time to try to harness your creativity and your emotions so that you can make the maximum sort of impact in your life. One thing to think about is, if you ever look up at the moon, we never see other sides of the moon. Sometimes depending on the shadow, we'll see more of it than less of it, but we never see the other side. And that's because it's tidally locked to this planet. And what can happen in our life sometimes is we can get fixated on one thing or one way of doing something, and we never see the other side of it. So this is a chance to unlock yourself and see different potential, to let go of things and really allow whatever momentum or potential or idea that it is that you have to really just sort of see the light of day. The moon card on here also represents competition and also taking that path towards enlightenment. So don't waste time competing or sometimes even dealing with people that are less than honest or less than ready to show up for work and get things done. Instead, take that path towards enlightenment. And this is what the energy of the wave was teaching us for today. And I think it's a really cool way to get things started. All right, let's begin. We're going to start off with a quick shuffle of the cards here and take a look here at the Celtic Cross. The Celtic Cross is going to help us see all the highs, lows, and in-betweens. And again, you can use this for Sun, Rising, Moon, Venus, or any aspect of your chart. All right, I will go into the energy of the Sun, Rising, and Moon just a little bit later, so I hope you guys stick around for that. If you ever have any questions on which decks that I'm using, you can always find them on my website. I'll put a link in the pinned area beneath the video and also in the chat. Let's do this one instead. Okay, let's take a look at your catalyst card. It is the Mother, and there's so many beautiful things to look at here, especially that centermost pearl. So a pearl in nature happens when there's an irritant that's inside of a mollusk, and basically there's a calcium deposit that forms over top of that. So that basically the way we could look at this is in life, sometimes we have a difficult situation that can create strength or beauty. And if you can emerge from that with that feeling of strength or beauty, it was worth all of that experience. It also can show that you don't need to please everybody. That's a sentiment that I'll echo many times here, but you may irritate one person, but that same quality or unique sort of energy could actually be what makes you successful, stand out, that brings value to you. So one person's speck of dust is another person's pearl. Don't change yourself just because you want to fit in. There's something unique about this pearl, and I like that. And it's also saying that sometimes if you have to work really hard to get something, you appreciate it even more. So all of these things are good. Try to see the growth potential and don't change yourself simply because one person doesn't like you. You know what I'm saying? Right around this, we have a protective energy here of the snake, almost like an Ouroboros. And so we also see power. For some of you, it's even hidden power that you may not even recognize. Someone around you could. The mother could be a boss, an authority figure, or a mentor that sees this potential in you and is trying to awaken that as well. And then we see this nest as well. So ultimately, this card this month is saying a few things. You have potential, you have opportunity. Are you ready to awaken and step into this moment? And also, even if things were challenging in the past, it has built up strength and character and inner beauty that didn't exist before but does now. So let's embrace this moment in time. Everything has synchronistically, sort of, if that's a word, everything has been a synchronicity and it's brought you to this moment in time. All right, let's just take a quick scan of the Celtic Cross itself and get a feel for everything. Like I said, this can help you with the sun, rising, and moon energies. And let's just see what's going on here. I was talking about strength, building strength of character, building you up a little bit. We're definitely getting that here. I see that for many of you, you are starting to get balanced out with your finances. Actually, we see them leaps and bounds kind of traveling here. There could be new love and new opportunities knocking. And there's a little bit of a reset here with overall sort of vision and priorities. So let's take it card by card, starting off with the Six of Pentacles. So this card came through in the reverse state. Let's just look at it upright. This is really about knowing when to say no, knowing when to say yes, and also remembering like what's important to you. It's all about balance and moderation. When this card comes through, you can usually accomplish everything that you seek to accomplish, but there's always a need to remember that you don't want to push yourself too hard, that you can't please everyone, and that you want to save just a little bit at the end of the day for your own health, happiness, and well-being. If you do that, you're actually going to have everything that you need. And we can see that right here. So this card typically would show the scales of balance. And then again, discernment. A little here, maybe a little here, but we got to save a little bit for you as well. So don't run the tank on empty and don't be afraid to say no. Those are the main things there. Crossing this, we then see that with that discernment comes more opportunity and also the ability to harness that. So we can go from the Six of Pentacles to the Seven of Pentacles because it's built in here. So that is growth, recovery. Still a little bit of patience is needed, but it's pretty darn good. Also, the Ace is simply an ace. So for some of you, there could be an offer of work or a project or a relationship, something that's coming in, and there is definitely potential. So the first card is getting you ready. I even like the traditional one a little bit more. So this one is saying, get everything balanced out, know what you want, know what you don't want. Then you can really embrace this thing and you can start to kind of incubate it a bit, right? It's almost like a nest and you're saying, okay, now I can really focus on this because I've cleared out some time and energy here, because I've cut some cords here, and because now I know what I'm trying to do. So through discernment and balance comes opportunity, and now you can seize that opportunity, and it's just like Jack and the Beanstalk. It's going to grow pretty fast. So I like that quite a bit. Whatever comes into your life right now, there's also just, again, a re-echoing of this energy of discernment. So if someone comes in and offers you something and it's not enough, you're going to overcome that sort of cycle of saying yes, which we see in the past, and say, I will accept this if and only if we agree upon this, or close, but this is what I require. Negotiate. Let's talk about the past. I feel like this is in the past based on those two very auspicious cards at the center. For some of you, there might have been a moment in time where something didn't work out, and that really stuck with you. It could be someone that said no in a relationship when you asked them out. It could be a job that you applied for and you didn't get. Maybe the first choice of school, whatever. We all have moments in our life where we really, really wanted something and it just didn't come to pass. Sometimes that can stick with us and we start to think, is it me? This card invariably is coming through and saying, no, it isn't you. There was, for some reason, a disconnect at the time. Either the other person lacked imagination, lacked visibility, wasn't connected, couldn't show up the way you needed them to show up. And therefore the universe said, not here, not now. Let's realign this person for a better match down the line. And let's focus on the fact that the match is incoming, folks. So through your discernment, through balancing out your own life, someone or something is coming in now that values you. What we want to avoid is this echo from the past where you think, now am I good enough or is this a repeat? It's not. This is very much in the past. What you learned to do in that moment was to basically find your own light, to lean on yourself. Self-worth equals net worth. So I hope many of you realize just how valuable, powerful, and as we look in the environment, how strong you are and you were. And this is setting you up so that you can be strong enough to really embrace this new opportunity as well, okay? One last thing, this is not a time to be a perfectionist. The Five of Pentacles can also represent unrealistic expectations that we place on ourselves. And in doing so, we make it very hard to grow, to accomplish, because we're constantly thinking, I'm just not this enough, I'm not that enough. And it sometimes comes because we see, in media, whether it's social or traditional, movies, whatever, examples of people that have, that's not them really either. It's a team of people, it's lighting, it's all of this other stuff. And so all of these center cards are basically coming through today to say, you're more than enough and there's something incoming that's worth your time and energy and vice versa. You're worthwhile of it. So this is the past. As we look at recent past, we have the beautiful Six of Cups. This is friendship, this is partnership, this is love, and it's also a really deep connection. For those of you that have any sort of past life or karmic connection, this is typically positive. It's like the karma is easy. This is basically like meeting an old friend. As one of the magnet cards, I would say Lovers, Two of Cups, Six of Cups, all magnetic, all able to pull things in. Whenever we get one of these cards, it's basically saying, are you ready and willing to kind of embrace that magnet? I hope you are, because this is really good energy overall. You may be pulled to connect a little bit more with friends, with close family, with children in your life. You may also want to reconnect with your parents, whether they're alive or in spirit. This is a chance to do some healing. Ultimately, this is also one of the most playful cards, maybe second only to the Sun, because these are all children cards. So it's about embracing the things as a kid that you wanted to do. And it's almost like you're looking back at that little child and saying, we did this. We're doing this right now. And I listened to you. I didn't forget about you. I didn't forget about your dreams. So this is a time to reconnect with those dreams and show that little version of yourself that it's going to be okay. Some of you might be having a family because we have the Mother card and the Six of Cups here. So that could be a birth. This could also be birthing a project. And this could also be connecting with a new friend. Suffice it to say, you've done the work on yourself, as we could see with the center cards, to overcome whatever this was in the past. And you no longer have to be isolated. Now we have someone here who can show up. In the traditional Five of Pentacles, there's typically one person on crutches, another person that's also dealing with health issues or emotional issues, and neither can be there for each other. In this card, we just see that that other person really wasn't the focus anyway. It was just you finding your inner light. Now that inner light, much like the star, is pulling someone or something in, and it looks good, folks, okay? Let's see what's going on in the crowning position here. We have Page of Swords in reverse. So this is a chance for you to change your mind if you want to. We don't have to always think the same thing or do the same thing. A Page of Swords is open to revision. They could revise a contract, they could revise a way of thinking. They're not afraid to communicate the change either. So it's the most communicative of all the pages. So you may just be needing to speak up and say, no, or I need to change this, or I want to try this. It's outspoken energy too. Pages are good at listening, and a reverse page has to be especially good at making sure that they've heard things right. Not only that, that they're communicating in a way that's effective. So for those of you that do that for a living or are really concerned about how someone received your message, now more than ever, you really want to check in and say, was that clear to you? Do you have any questions? And also, did I hear you correctly? You want this, this, and this, okay? As we look here in the near future, it's really connecting to this because the Empress is the mother, as I said earlier. It's the divine feminine energy. I love that she's meditating, praying, or really connecting to source. It's reminding you that dreams can come true. It is important, however, to put out there the intention, the clarity of what that vision is, and to believe in yourself, to believe in your own potential. Because if you can't, how do you expect others? How do you expect the universe, your guides, your higher self to align the synchronicities that, again, already want to come through, as we see with this Ace of Pentacles? So this is a moment to be not only the sort of boss card that the Empress is, but also really believing in yourself. And then take initiative, because this is someone who says, not only do I believe in myself or this vision or this thing or this relationship, but I'm willing to go the distance. And so this is belief and power and action. And that's really what's required this month to bring it to the next level. I do love that we have such a peaceful Empress card. She's tuned in, she's listening to herself, listening to the world at large. That will also serve you really well in this moment. And it's saying there may be something right now where you indeed are the best person to do this. This isn't something you necessarily want to or need to hand off. Now let's take a look at how you're showing up. Hardworking, I have to say. Much like the Six of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands is a card that begs for discernment. So when it's in reverse, it's especially saying you should be working smarter, not necessarily harder. I said just a moment ago that it's important for you to focus on taking something to the finish line. There may be things that no longer need your time or attention. And if you're holding on to those sort of, let's call them anchors, they're going to hold you in place. So whether it is, an extracurricular activity or something that has already been done and you're just trying to perfect it, let that go. Really clear your energy up and say, this is done and I'm going to focus on something else. I really want to make sure that each breath, each thought, each action that I take is like one of those waves in the ocean, and it's really going to have an impact. If there's anything in your life where you feel like the action, the thought, the communication is falling on deaf ears and it's not making the impact that you would like, this is a chance to pull back and to reconnect with the things that are. All right, let's see what's going on around you. There could be someone that is really difficult to deal with. There could be someone that really likes to have their way. What's cool about this, though, is they've met their match in you this month, because the Empress and the Strength card are pretty much even though they have different numbers in the major arcana. They're both very strong energies. So Strength reverse, let's talk about it. This can be someone showing up in your life. What happens with this card is it's typically someone who has a difficult time in letting go. And it could just be that simple. They don't want you to move on to something new because they want to keep you close. So parents, bosses, friends sometimes have a hard time letting go, even exes. This can also be someone in your life that wants to almost make you second guess your decision-making potential. So they'll come in and they'll say, have you done this yet? Or are you sure you're doing this? Or let me take a look at this. So if there's someone that is this in the weeds of something, especially if it is someone that should be managing or focusing on something else, try not to let that go to your head. Try to hold your ground. And you know what? If they want to focus on this sort of like unnecessary stuff, let them. You can then focus on something more important, and it's going to hold them back in the long run. It's kind of ironic because they might be trying to hold on to power or to keep you in place, but it's actually going to free you up. So know what to fight and what not to fight. That's also the Seven of Wands. This is a card of defense, but when the card is reversed, it's saying sometimes it's not worth fighting because this person may not be ready or willing to listen, okay? Now, just as an aspect of your personality and also like as a something to be aware of, strength in reverse can be fatigue, and it's in the environment. So the job or relationship or the thing around you that's taking up the most time and energy could be depleting you just a little bit. So make sure that you're being mindful of that. Instead of the traditional lion or, usually it's a lion, we have here a crocodile. So it could also be how much someone is talking. I'm just thinking of like that crocodile mouth moving up and down. So try not to get caught up in arguments or this sort of like back and forth, who's right, who's wrong sort of energy. It's not worth your time or your energy. Focusing on hopes, fears, and opportunities, this is where you should be putting your time and energy. We have movement here. Love the Six of Swords. Six of Swords could be travel. It could be moving to greener pastures because we had the Ace at the center. It could be deciding to move in with someone, to transfer for a job, to travel for pleasure, to also travel for opportunity. This can be moving on from a painful situation from the deep past. And again, understanding now that it's okay to do so. Sometimes we're looking for permission. There's a certain period of time that you need to mourn or sit with something. And this is saying, this is the time for forward movement, for forward momentum, for something beautiful to happen in your life. But travel is a nice key component to this. Now, there are a couple of cards that can also represent distribution, and this is one of them. The World, of course, is the ultimate one because it represents the ability to reach the entire world. But the Six of Swords is a little bit more focused, and it may apply to those of you that are simply looking to take the next step in your career, in your education, in your relationship, or in your business. So the next step is going to require a little bit of distance. For some of you, geographical. So you might be looking at expanding your work just like one city, state, province, country over. Or again, it might be saying, I'm ready to go up the ladder to the next step. No matter what, we see movement with this, and it's auspicious, folks, okay? Maybe some of you are afraid of the movement because it comes in hopes and fears, but it feels like it's worthwhile, especially with the near future card being a power card. Now let's look at this. This is a very interesting card for outcome. We have the Five of Cups, and again, Five of Cups always shows two cups in the background. This can be love, relationships, opportunities, something cool that is really waiting for you. But the first thing that has to happen is to let go, to say, okay, something didn't work out as planned, but that isn't the end of the world. I'm okay with that. And I'm going to give myself permission to forgive myself, to move on, and to let whatever needs to go, go. I like that she's in the water. So let's think of high tide and low tide. The Five of Cups is basically right as that tide is going back. It's kind of low tide, and we haven't yet started to receive the energy from the ocean again. You're going to receive the high tide soon. Things are going to start to, the tide is changing. That's what we can see here. There's something beautiful on the horizon. So allow this to go back and now focus on potential. Again, this could be unexpected love, partnership, or opportunity that is knocking. Overall, I like what I see here. I love that we got double Empress or Mother cards here. And for many of you, this is your chance to reclaim your power. And I'm always excited to see that when it comes through. Let's focus now on the expanded forecast, beginning with the energy of health. Mind, body, and spirit is what this comprises. As I say here in the disclaimer, I'm here to help you look at energy. If you need any advice from an expert, please work with one. Let's look at the health message this month. We have the letter. The letter is reversed. She might be looking at this and sort of saying, I don't agree with this, I agree with this. It's everything that I was talking about with Six of Pentacles and Seven of Wands, and also the Page of Swords. So it's saying, am I getting enough? Or am I in this cycle of sometimes taking less than I should get? What am I going to say to make sure that I'm getting enough now? Can I push back on something that's unreasonable? All of the above. So this card is saying, look at everything before you sign on the dotted line. And if someone's trying to distract you or again, sort of like ask you to do something that's outside the realm of what's appropriate or even what's feasible, you push back on that. You're going to look at everything down to the fine print. And read the fine print also when it comes to things like medications and agreements to make sure that you're getting into things that are healthy, sustainable, and that are right for you. again, looking generally at all of the cards here and seeing what could be affecting your general health and well-being. In the deep past, we have a card that shows emotional healing. So I think one of the key things this month, and we talked about it with the wave and the ocean, is emotions. So have you dealt with any fear or anxiety or pain from the past? If not, it will resurface, and now is the time to heal. And this is a card of transition. It's morning, and right beneath it was movement. So, already the energy is there for you. All it requires is a little bit of you leaning into it and saying, let's do this. As we look at some of the other cards here, you're not alone. Just looking at the center three, we have friendship, we have abundance. This is the core card that I look for to say that you have more than enough. And then we have the ability to step into empowerment. We also have parents and children. We have community in this. It's a good month overall for all of you. So if you're willing to say I'm worth it and step into something, I see movement there. I think the only thing this month to focus on is speaking up and asking questions if you're unclear. Some of you might be looking at pregnancy or expanding the family. All of these cards are pretty auspicious if you're trying to do that. There could be twins, FYI. I think that for the rest of us, this is really a call to focus on, again, that power center, solar plexus, and also communication, finding your voice, using your voice, speaking up as necessary. So throat and solar plexus, those chakras are going to be the most important ones to focus on. Okay, let's see what else is here before we move on to the next portion. What I do see here for some of you is just making sure that you get adequate rest, that if there's any part of your body, especially this can represent an injury from the past, typically in the feet or ankles, lower parts of the leg, we want to make sure that that's healed up. A lot of times you see crutches on this, so it takes time and it takes effort, so make sure that you're ready and willing to put that in there. But the good news here is we see movement right above that, and just gentle movement can make a big impact there. And again, another emphasis here on emotional healing. Once you focus on that, you're in a good space. We don't have the Devil, the Tower, or the Ten of Swords anywhere in this energy, so it feels like this is a manageable month and things should be moving in the right direction. Okay, let's transition now and take a look at wealth. We have the lotus flower. This is exciting. So it may not all be in front of you just yet, but it's coming. And remember that lilies, water lilies and lotuses, they have to push through many layers of silt and algae and like murky waters to get to the surface so that they can start to photosynthesize and bloom. And it's basically a journey that we see whenever this particular totem comes through. The lotus is also connected with the crown chakra, so many of you might be starting to open up to new ideas. So with this unfoldment, we're basically seeing something revealing itself to you, and you're like, oh, it's an aha moment, a light bulb. So I want you to record that. This is a card of writing it down or recording it or communicating it, and we see value, we see interest in that, okay? Some of you want to go back to school and train yourself because this can also be a part of it, basically enriching the seventh chakra, the crown chakra, and saying, I really want to put some time and energy into expansion. And it can also be spiritual growth as well. But this is one of the best cards that I could get for career overall. What it says, though, is it may not all be there just yet. So, we see eggs and we see the pearl. All of these things take time to form. So give it time and look beyond what's obvious. All right, let's now just look at the cards generally speaking. The most important thing from the deep past is the Five of Pentacles. And I think the key thing to overcome is letting someone basically take more than they should or giving more than you need to. So focus more on healthy boundaries. So the discernment, pushing back, and focusing on where your energy can be best received, that's the thing that really comes through the most. If you feel like you're not getting enough, this card does basically, it says, yes, that could be the case for some of you, then this is a chance to push for more, to look for more, because you have a chance of either getting what you ask for or finding it elsewhere. So it's stepping up or stepping out on your own terms and with a safety net, with something better in hand if you need it. This is a great month for networking, for meeting new people. This is a really good time for strengthening and using and exploring your own sort of communication skills, your voice basically. And if you've been thinking of doing your own thing. You can't get better than having two of these mother cards. So we could see actually like a partnership for some of you as well coming through. I like what I see overall. I think the main thing is some of you are just exhausted or burned out and maybe doing more than you need to without the sort of return that you need. So the first thing is to find that balance, or to advocate for more, or to find a place where you are appreciated for the pearl that you are, for that great energy that you have to offer. If you're retired, we have travel coming through. We also have an increased focus on your health and your strength. And for everybody else that might be job seeking or not focusing so much on work, there is a recalibration. And I really keep coming back to emotions this month. And do what makes you happy with whatever time on this planet you have. That's what this card always is coming back and reminding us. There's no more room for the sadness, for the tears. There's a focus now on joy, on partnership, on something better. And we can see it. Friends and partners, a hidden friend or partnership, and then it's sort of sitting here saying, are you ready? Are you ready to receive? And your mantra this month is, I'm ready to receive. Love, abundance, opportunity in the highest forms. I always like to add that on that. Okay, let's move on from wealth to love. We have a long card here, so let me read it first. It says, when I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. This card came through reverse, but I want to pull it upright so you can read everything. We have a couple of owls there as well, it looks like. When I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. Faith brings you this sense of contentment because you have faith that tomorrow is going to be better. You have faith that things are going to go well. You have faith in yourself. And it does give you a sense that I don't have to fight. I don't have to prove things because I believe in myself. Now let's take a look at how this is going to pan out in relationships. If you're already in a relationship, isn't it interesting that we see the two mothers here? For some of you, there could be an extended family. There could be a surrogate. There could be two mother-in-laws or a mother and a mother-in-law that are entering in. There's a lot of sort of energy around maternal forces in your life right now and balancing that out. And as you know, you can't make everybody happy, especially parents, whether they're your parent or your partner's parent. You have to do your best to be happy. It's the two of you at the end of the day. It's your core family unit that you want to focus on. If this is a new relationship, it looks like it gets serious pretty quickly because we have that offer on the table. We have a balancing of energies. The thing is, from the deep past, there's one little hiccup where you're wondering, can I do this? Am I worth it? Remember, we already said, yes, you are. Yes, you can. And this, whatever this was, it made you even more sort of, made you stronger and more beautiful. So think of it from that perspective. Travel and distance could play an important role this month. Could be a long distance relationship. One partner could be traveling for work. There could also be this sense that you're not talking enough or they're being more distant with you. So this is a chance to bridge the gap and say, I need to, we need a little bit more time together. I miss you. So communication in a way that is not accusatory. It's more saying, how are you? What's going on? I miss the time that we have and that we normally have together. What can we do to create more of that? So open, honest, constructive communication from a place of faith and belief, that's going to bring you into a good space. I think most relationships this month that are already underway, you're going to be okay. Again, a little bit of fatigue, could be some health issues for some of you, could be some insecurities popping up as well. We don't want to push one partner or the other to do something. These two queen or mother cards can basically sometimes represent really strong will. And I said these are evenly matched. So this is a chance to understand that there is not necessarily a right or wrong, just two ways to do things. For those of you that are looking for love this month, can you find it? Yeah. We're getting a lot of twinning energy here. The Six of Cups are twins. The two Empresses, twin energy. The Empress and the Strength card, twin energy as well. So we're looking at someone here, I like to think of it as a twin star, not a twin flame. There's someone that is really resonating with your frequency. So they may be from a different part of the world or a different space, or they might be coming into your life. So that is one challenge, is distance and travel and maybe even culture. And it may not be easy at the beginning, but we see the promise of something really good there. So work through your discomfort right now. Work through the emotions from the past. Take care of yourself and see where this could take you. It looks promising to me. It could be a Leo, by the way, since that's what's showing up in the environment with the Strength card. but I like it overall. These are great cards, whether you're in a relationship or looking for it, and the challenges are pretty manageable. If you're happily single right now, we see a lot of developmental energy. Maybe you're partnering up for business. Maybe you're working with a mentor. Maybe you're just really finding the power that you forgot that you had, and it's really cool for you to do that. There's still a need for you to focus on just general health. For everybody this month, even though we're now into relationships, try not to overdo anything or to push anything too fast. This can be trying to force something beyond the speed that it needs to be, or in a place where it doesn't sort of like gel. So take it one step at a time and don't go too far too fast. I see good movement with health and I would also say finances. Less than optimal, even better. And so we see you going from the 5 to the 6 to the 7 of Pentacles, to something that could even be better than that, okay? So it's a good month for relationships of all categories this month, and just for personal development as well. Now moving on to the energy of destiny. So this card was reversed, but I love it. It says, time for a quantum leap. Prepare for a makeover. So the makeover is one that you can imagine for yourself, not being limited by past experiences, past templates, or again, others' expectations, embracing the inner pearl and saying, you know what, I'm ready now. It may happen faster than I want. It may happen in a different shape, form, or space than I expected, but maybe that's exactly what I need in this moment in time. All right, now we're going to expand the forecast. We're going to take a deeper look at sun, rising, and moon. All right, so let me give the cards a shuffle and see what's coming through. Sun, rising, and moon. In the sun sign message, we have the King of Swords, which is connected to action. It's very outspoken. It's also one of the ultimate leadership cards that you can pull in the minor arcana. I love this overall. It's also doing the right thing. I always connect justice and legal matters to the King and the Queen of Swords. So this is your chance to really make something happen in the time and the way and the fashion that you want. And we can see this King of Swords as a winged creature as well. I believe it's a griffin. So this is a chance for you to see your dreams, your ideas, your sort of plans start to unfurl, start to unfold, because we got that with the lotus flower. And it's a chance for you to get things in writing, because this card is definitely connected to the speaking and the writing and the editing. And it's a chance to basically, if no one else will do it, you can do it and you will do it. And it's just so auspicious this month. So speak up, act accordingly, make things happen, do the right thing, and take the initiative. This is one of the strongest cards for taking the initiative, okay? Very, very positive for you. Moving on to rising. This is also paying attention to the details. It's the only Eight of Pentacles where the person gets a little frustrated. I love Eight of Pentacles because there are two cards here of learning. One is the 8, one is the 3. 3 is mastery. The 8, though, is really, it's apprenticeship, but it's also kind of like sinking your teeth into something. So I feel like if you're ready and willing this month, you could be, it's almost like you're a sponge. You could soak up everything that you're paying attention to. Here's the traditional Eight of Pentacles. And you're going to get so much out of that. But you have to learn to love that process of immersion, learning, and production. And it feels like there's a little frustration in this particular illustration with the production. She just wants to have it done. It's like, give me my diploma or show me the finished product, or why are we not there yet? It's very much like the kid in the back of the car that's asking, when are we there? So soon is what I would say. Don't give up hope. That's the only thing that's kind of interesting with this is, it does take a little bit of blood, sweat, and tears to make things happen, but it's invariably worth it. I can say of all of the Pentacles cards that I could pull, the 8 of Pentacles is one where you get a return on the investment. 8 and 3 are very worth your time and energy. So if you invest wisely and focus and push through the discomfort, good things will come, okay? Now let's focus on the moon. We have the Hanged Man in the reversed position. So this is basically impatience. What happens with the Hanged Man sometimes is we just get upset that, it's very similar to this. She's in the throes of production or movement with the 8 of Pentacles, but it's not fast enough. The Hanged Man, maybe you're just not seeing anything yet. So let me remind you of the lotus blossom. You're not even sure of the beauty of this until that blossom pops out of the water. What's happening beneath the surface, though, is it's forming and it's finding its way. So you are finding your way and you're getting ready for that unfolding or unfurling energy. Why does the hangman happen? Well, it happens in your life because either the universe is aligning you with a synchronicity and it wants to slow you down for a moment so that you find the right person, the right place, the right time, or there's a chance to soak in a little bit more and say, you know what, you haven't learned everything from this experience just yet. Stay one more moment. Really make sure that you're clear before you take the next step. That way it's going to be empowered. We don't see it in this card, but in the traditional one, there's always a nimbus or a halo or light right around the head because it's all about enlightenment. So you're one step away from that unfolding energy. Don't rush. Look at it from a different angle. The other thing with the Hanged Man, she's upside down. So it's really just about seeing it from another perspective. And sometimes when we can't get what we want when we want, we see something else and we're like, oh, I guess that's what this was all about. Okay, maybe I'm all right with this. All right. So let's now move on to the final card. Just a quick note that this month, the meditation is its own separate video. So you can click below in the description and I'll link it out there. All right. I'd like you to focus on a question that you might have for me and just allow it to kind of exist in your mind and your heart for a second, hold on to it, and then let it go. And you don't have to type it out in chat or anything. Let's just see what the universe has to say with that question. It can be anything that hasn't yet been answered or any clarification that you need. Folks, it's happening. We have the Two of Wands, a super auspicious card. We have the god Janus on this card, the god of doorways, and we see him in a doorway. So basically, he looks at the past and the future. And this is saying you might be looking in the wrong direction. It's kind of interesting that we were just talking about that with the Hanged Man. It's about looking at things from a different perspective. So Janus is coming through and saying, whatever you're focusing on, make sure that you haven't missed something else. Look in all directions. I often say this with the Three of Wands because if you're not looking at the ships on the horizon, but you're looking at something else, you miss the ships. Janus is saying before you even go there, there might be something that could create some more traction or movement in your life. It's also saying not everything is going to be mapped out for you. I was having a conversation this morning with a friend talking about, we've been getting the Two of Swords a couple of days in the one card readings. And even when I did the 777 reading, and I said, one of the big differences between Two of Wands and Two of Swords is the Two of Swords forces you to go inward. Two of Wands in reverse can also say, look beyond the atmosphere or the environment. Look again in the heart, in the heart, in the mind. Use your intuition and see what else is calling to you. It's not obvious, but it's there and it is possible. And the last thing here is that when you believe, then things start to happen. Okay. Overall, it's an affirmative card. Things are possible, but focus and flexibility are going to be key. Focusing on all the different options, flexibility in timing, space, or arrival. Okay, that's everything for this month, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. Before we wrap up, a couple of quick notes. If you like what you see here, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up. Then leave a comment below and let me know what you liked. That kind of feedback helps me really know what's working for you and I can make better videos. This also helps YouTube identify this as a great video and it serves it up to others. You can also give me a follow on social media. It's always my full name, @Nicholas Ashbaugh on all the major platforms. You can go to my website if you need more information about who I am, what I do, or what my handles are on different platforms. Thank you so much to everybody that showed up, especially for those of you that gave back with super stickers, super chat, even memberships. All of these things help the channel grow and creates a community here. Thank you to YouTube for giving me a platform to do what I do as well. And finally, remember, I don't give any private readings. If anybody reaches out and offers a product or service, it's not me. And that's that, folks. I just want to say that I really appreciate all of you. I wish you the best in the month ahead. And I look forward to seeing you for my daily, weekly, and monthly readings. Take care. Have a great one. And thanks again for spending time here.